With my recent jury service, I gave myself the prime, make it about the course, not the course, the case / courtroom. So, I just finished watching 2001 film Legally Blonde. Here's the DVD jacket. Here's the DVD. It's part of the family DVD collection. I've watched this many times in my life. So these are my movie notes on Legally Blonde, 2001 film, 27 May 2026 viewing. And I'm Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, and here I talk through my movie notes for my Wednesday, 27 May 2026 viewing of the 2001 film Legally Blonde, which is a fiction film about a female Harvard Law School student who helps on a murder case where her undergraduate experience in a sorority proves useful in distinguishing who did it in a courtroom / trial setting on the spot. Yes. So it starts off with her sorority background when she's an undergraduate student in college. And there's like relationship drama, and she ends up going to Harvard Law School. And she has, you know, a 4.0 out of 4.0 GPA. And her degree is like fashion. And they're like, Harvard's like, we have not ever had, the Harvard Law School is like, we have not ever had, you know, a fashion degree, or even with the 4.0 GPA, you know, out of 4.0. And so they admit her on the grounds of diversity. And it's like, well, if it's going to be a cutting edge university accepting the same degrees, more of the same. So they got that right. And so it proceeds, and she's working through the relationship drama, and she kind of like has to wisen up, perhaps, like the flip side of being a fashion degree and the only one in the history of Harvard Law, you know. And well, first off, that's a really big deal, right? Because it's the first person, not the first woman, the first person to be of a fashion degree. But so she has to change. The school doesn't change. She has to change. And so she does, and she excels really quickly. And I kind of tuned in with my movie going. Even though the prime is my recent jury service, and there was a takeaway. I was like watching. So it's about a little over an hour and a half long. And it gets to approximately the scene where, like, she gets at, you know, there's this case that's coming up, kind of thing, you know, if you're interested, you can turn in a resume, kind of thing. I've watched this too many times. Is that verbatim? It's close. It's kind of thing. In one of the classes she's in. And it was almost smack dab, exactly 50% of the way into the movie. And if you've seen my Wuthering Heights, where I pressed the button for the vanilla milkshake for 2026 film Wuthering Heights, and I said I'm gonna press it when Heathcliff shows up all cleaned up, my Jacob Elordi, and it was exactly 50% of the way through the movie, or something like that. I was like, it was this. That was true for this as well. So that was what Wuthering Heights was Warner Brothers. This is Metro Goldwyn Mayer as the studios, and I was like 50%. Anyway, so where I'm going with this is I'm giving myself a legal treatment of, does it justify me making this about the murder case? Yeah. About a courtroom and like jury service and where the court meets my life? Yeah. I lived in a sorority. I'm a bit like this legal lady. When I was an undergraduate, I did not stay the course, like the entire way through my undergraduate. So she lasted longer than I did. Miss 4.0 and first fashion major of any gender at Harvard Law School. She's better than me. Okay. She wasn't waitlisted like somebody else was. Okay. In the movie. Okay. So, and so she helps out with this case, and where I'm going with this is, like, half of the movie is dedicated to the trial in this movie. So if people think it's about a ditzy, you know, personal life thing, no. The trial is the case is half of the movie, literally, including end credits. So there we go. That's my being on the movie, and actually it is. As a solitary plot line, so to speak, is the bulk of the movie as a solitary plot line. And so there we go. And it's a great one. I think it does with that 50-50, it does such a great job of taking her, you know, fashion degree, her interest in like hair and makeup and salons, and her sorority experience, and actually uses it to distinguish when she's on the spot, you know, helping out, and rises in the ranks in the courtroom on, you know, one of the sides of the case to defend a woman, right, who's a pioneer in her own right and kind of like health and wellness. Who's like, I didn't kill this person, and so the woman's like, fine, I'm going to defend you because, you know, I'm a sorority sister, you know, I'm a sorority girl, and so it's like sorority sister kind of love. And she figures out who the murderer is based on basic salon care, hair care, like sororities, her fashion kind of stuff, you know, somebody who's in fashion might know that. And so that was like really good, and like the like education, you know, college degree actually gets used in the courtroom, but it's really I think it does a great job. What's the court element here? The importance of on-the-spot intelligence and like adaptability of somebody who's a lawyer or an attorney or one of their aides or whatever in the courtroom setting to get to the bottom of it. This movie does such a good job of it, and it has just like such good like snaps where it's like, oh, that, and she would know that if she like, you know, did this like routinely, the routine and the non-routine, because it's a murder case, so like she normally did this, and so she would have known not to do this because it was a routine, like just some like super basic, but like she can figure it out, whereas like the rest are kind of prudes. And she's like, but I know salon care, and like to really just play to the excellence categories of the main character. It's just such a good job. This is a 5 out of 5. Okay, it's always been a 5 out of 5 for me, even when I had to hide it. Now, I wasn't the person in my family who said it like just rots the brains out. I was like, I kind of like it, if none other than it has a cute dog. Okay, you know, it's like the Baby Yoda movie, only it's not. I didn't give this one 5 out of 5, but like the Baby Yoda movie where I gave it 1 out of 5 because like people can like just tear it apart, and just like, but I still had a cute Baby Yoda. It also had Pedro Pascal, who's a handsome hunk. You know, like some of these things 25 years later just don't change. It's still a cute dog. Okay. And it's still got some really, really well done, just like, that's what the law is about, man. Courtroom drama. Stick to that shock and awe, but like, you know, intelligence moments. So on the spot intelligence moments. It's great. It's great. I love this one. So my movie notes on the Legally Blonde 2001 film, 27 May 2026 viewing.